Ciao.
Ciao.
The other pilot's name is Theo. He's just gonna go drop the combi and then he'll be here shortly. But I'll brief all of you because it's roughly the same briefing. Alrighty. The Boro River. This river is called the Boro River. Trek along it for a little bit. Try and look for some.
Film selvaggi.
The Cubango River has its source in the western highlands of Angola, near the town of Huambo, an area rich in biodiversity and characterized by a lush landscape. From these heights, the river begins its long journey, collecting along the way the contribution of numerous tributaries that increase its flow and strength. Crossing the border with Namibia, the Cubango changes its name to the Kavango, and continues its course winding through the arid plains and semi-desert regions. When it enters Botswana, the river takes the name of Okavango and, after traveling about 1,600 kilometers, empties into the famous Okavango Delta. This delta, one of the natural wonders of the world, is one of the largest inland water systems, an oasis of life on the edge of the Kalahari Desert, which supports a vast array of flora and fauna and represents a unique and fragile ecosystem, essential for the conservation of African biodiversity. The Okavango Delta, the second largest inland river delta in the world after the Niger Delta, is one of the most unusual ecosystems on the planet, an extraordinary environment rich in flora and fauna. The absence of agricultural and industrial activities along its course allows the river water to reach the delta pure, which contracts and expands according to the seasonal rhythm of the rains. In March and April, the rains in Angola begin to swell the river, and as the months pass, the precipitation tends to move westward, following the course of the river. From June onwards, the delta begins to expand rapidly, gaining about 3 kilometers per day. In July, however, the water begins to evaporate, causing a regression of the flood. This seasonal movement of water creates a dynamic river habitat that is home to a wide range of animal and plant species, all adapted to these fluctuations. The animals, following the new alluvial margins, move within the delta, finding refuge and nourishment. The Okavango Delta is rightly considered one of Africa's nature sanctuaries, an ecological jewel that attracts naturalists and tourists from all over the world, fascinated by its beauty and biodiversity. The Okavango Delta is certainly a unique place in the world, protected and carefully controlled like the whole territory of Botswana. Much credit goes to the foresight of the government, who have invested with determination in the conservation of this natural heritage. The extraordinary nature of the delta lies in the fact that a majestic river, instead of flowing into the sea, disappears into the Kalahari Desert, creating an alluvial plain of 15,000 square kilometers. Here, the river draws a complex and changing grid of channels, lagoons and islands, an aquatic mosaic in continuous transformation. This wonder of nature offers refuge to a wide range of animal and plant species, many of which are rare or endemic. The Okavango Delta is a vibrant ecosystem where life proliferates thanks to the harmonious interaction between water and land. Its protection is a national and international priority, as it represents not only an ecological treasure, but also a fundamental resource for sustainable tourism, which brings significant economic benefits to the country and promotes global awareness of the need to preserve such unique environments. From above, the vastness of the landscape opened up before our eyes like an infinite canvas, dotted with herds of animals moving in harmonious synchrony. It was a breathtaking spectacle, a meeting of wild nature and our privileged perspective. However, the charm of this vision was partly obscured by the glare of the light bouncing off the glass surface of the plain, creating a play of reflections that made it difficult to capture the entire scene. To further complicate the situation, the high speed of the plane and the considerable distance between us and the ground below made it almost impossible to record quality video. We had to be content to preserve those moments in our memories, knowing that the true beauty of what we were observing was beyond any film shot.